let me just start off, and Robert, you can probably back me up on this because you've seen this. It is very difficult to find someone to out-stupid Bongholio. Occasionally, I gotta say, Glenn Beck really makes a go of it. He gives him a run for his dummy, if you know what I mean. But I have to say, there's a new kid in town. There's a new shithead in town, and this town ain't dumb enough for the two of us. And it's this little fella right here. This is Jesse Waters, also known as Stretch Ben Shapiro. And I don't know how he did it, but he somehow, I guess, bullshitted his way to the front of the line at Fox. And for some reason, somebody there thinks he knows what he's talking about. I could only, or he's perfect at bullshitting idiots, which is really the business model. So maybe I'm off on this, but I really do have to say, like he was just a classless, racist prick who did like stunts for Fox and Friends and stuff early on, which were like the equivalent of like a morning show where it's like John and Sarah, the Skeeter in the morning, and the Skeeter is this guy who's got, you know, I don't know, had water on the brain or is a little slow or odd or something like that. And they send him out to like, okay, are you out there in the middle of the parking lot? Okay, now take off your pants. Like that kind of shit, right? Okay, that kind of stuff that morning zoos do, but racist and shitty. Yeah? Okay, so that was his thing. That was his shtick, right? That's his. And then I guess it's because they had to broom Tucker because they could have broomed Maria Bartiromo, but they have her on the cheap. They don't gain anything. Like, Tucker was expensive. So you could make some of your money back just by getting rid of him and plugging this fuckhead in, right? But Maria Bartiromo, they can't pay her very much for that show. I mean, honestly. She's on Fox Business, which is like it's like a, you know, the third cousin playing the banjo on the porch in Deliverance of the networks of, you know, Fox at the top and then whatever. But Fox Nation's probably the butt knuckle of that whole thing. But Fox Business, they're not, you know, nobody there is getting rich from their paycheck, is my guess. Especially Maria, or they would have kicked her to the curb, right? Okay, so this is his reaction to Bobulinski, and obviously there's going to be a bunch of these things that are Jesse Waters. Joe Biden was for sale. Well, apparently now that he's president, he isn't anymore, and that's good news because past tense being not prologue, I think it's very important. That said, this idiot yeah, I don't even know. Well, you'll see. Like, his takes on this stuff have been garbage, and, well, I'll just show you.
The circus came to D.C. today. Democrats waltzed into work wearing costumes.
Congressman, can you explain more?
Well, no. One of them, Moskowitz, wore a Putin mask to fuck with them.
What you're wearing?
I just came to thank James Comer for taking all of our intelligence and using it in the committee. Maybe he can come see the technology in our grocery stores. Thank you. Congressman.
He dunks on Tucker on Jesse's show. Do you think Jesse noticed? Congressman, don't you think this behavior is kind of immature? You're kidding, right?
I think this behavior is kind of immature.
Democrats slapping
I think it's satire, I think, technically.
on Putin masks. There must be a Hunter Biden hearing. Yeah, there was, except Hunter didn't show.
Well, yeah, but it was a hearing about Hunter Biden, and it was provably driven by Russian intelligence.
After pretending he wanted to testify under the bright lights, Hunter got stage fright.
No, he just wanted to testify by himself and have the whole time not just be pinned between like four people and have this fucking wrestling match between him and Bobulinski where they can, because he never needs to see that guy again. If they give him his own hearing, I'm guessing he'll show up.
But his former business partners didn't.
Should I allow Hunter?
Partner, right? Oh, no, the other guy was, well, I don't know. Was Galvanis actually his partner? Debatable.
Hunter to give his opening statement first?
Well, doesn't appear Mr. Biden showed up for his public hearing, so we'll recognize you, Mr. Bobulinski.
Tony Bobulinski's been waiting for this moment for 4 years.
Yes. It's been his dream to get revenge on the Bidens for making him look like the skeevy con artist dickhead he is to all the people he's been trying to shellac forever. Yeah. Some people's wait a lifetime for a moment like this.
He came out swinging in his opening statement, leaving the Democrats rattled.
I think annoyed, actually.
Rep. Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin, both lawyers, and Mr. Goldman, a former prosecutor with the SDNY from New York, will continue to lie today in this hearing and then go straight to the media to tell more lies.
Calling someone a liar, never mind the fact that it is just, it's an ad hominem attack, whatever. But it doesn't actually prove that they lied. You have very little time. And again, we looked at his statement. So even the shit he cites is just fucking weak sauce. But just calling them a liar and saying they're going to lie to the media about something that's on television is just fucking weird. It's just kind of lame. Why wouldn't you come out, honestly, anybody in the chat room, wouldn't you come out and say, if you had a situation like this and you're like, they're going to lie about, like if the Republicans, if I was called to testify and the Republicans had said some shit about me that was a lie, I would cite it word for word. And included with my statement is the materials that I'm referencing that I would like put into the record alongside my statement, if you can do that, so that you can see, so I don't have to quote it all and waste my time. Right? That's what I would do. I wouldn't just call them liars. I would go, Rep. Son of a Dung said this about me, and this is what I actually said, and I would like to put into the record what I actually said and what he said I said, right next to each other. So for posterity knows who said what for real. Just like that. Hold on one second. Let me scroll over here. Leslie, I'm just glad you're here.
Biden's defense attorney, Abby Lowell, weaponizes letters to Congress to try to smear my name.
Mr. Chairman,
A weaponized letter. What did you do? Give you a paper cut? What happened? Make you lick the stamp?
I apologize for the disruption.
Am I supposed to say it's my time, Mr. Raskin?
Yeah.
An eyewitness.
He's so great. I'm reclaiming my time. Am I supposed to say I'm reclaiming my time, Mr. Raskin? They worked that out ahead of time, just so you know, him and Comer.
With impeccable credentials, former...
Impeccable credentials? Based on what? He's the one who was seeking out the CEFC deal, you dumb motherfucker. If CEFC is the problem, he's Typhoid Mary.
Naval officer, highly educated, multiple security clearances, legitimate business.
Used to have it. So did Scott Ritter, and he's a convicted pedophile.
Man, Tony Bobulinski, the original whistleblower.
Well, yeah, except the problem was he didn't actually end up having a whistle. He was basically just holding his fingers and going. If he was the original whistleblower and his shit has been around the longest and it was worth a goddamn, they'd already have filed charges, dum-dum.
Was under oath for the first time in public.
In public.
And he called the Biden family liars.
Yeah, that's a matter of opinion. You can call someone a liar if you don't cite a specific lie. This might be shocking to people, but if I was under oath and I called somebody a liar, period, and they, you could grill me. You could certainly, if it wasn't just direct testimony and I was able to be cross-examined, they could go, "What lies were you talking about?" Which is part of how this goes. But calling somebody a liar, you can call them names all you want under oath. It's your opinion.
The American people must hear it. You're presented here today with two narratives in this investigation. A false one being pushed by Joe Biden, a serial liar and fabulous, now under this impeachment investigation for public corruption. It is clear.
What corruption would that be?
Clear to me that Joe Biden.
Can I just say also, this is all about China. And no one has been harder on China than Joe Biden. No one. No president since fucking Nixon, since before Nixon, because Nixon was the guy who opened it up. No president since before Nixon has been this hard on China, period. Not since fucking Mao. And the fabulous ideas that he tells grandiose stories is the idea.
Was the brand being sold by the Biden family?
Again, a brand is not access. Hey, does anybody here know the difference between, like, let's say you're thirsty and you have a can of Coke, or you just have a sticker with Coke written on it, with Coca-Cola written on it. Is there a difference? You need something to drink, something material in the world. Is there a difference between the soda and the brand? The thing itself and the brand? Now, can anybody sell the brand? Can anybody take a Coke sticker and just stick it on whatever the fuck they want? Yeah. Can anybody sell Coca-Cola technically? No.
Joe Biden was more than a
I hope that analogy works for people.
participant in and a beneficiary of his family's business. He was an active, aware enabler who met with business associates.
An active, aware enabler.
Such as myself to further the business. I ask this big question. If there's no evidence of corruption here today, if Joe's conduct and the conduct of his family were fully legal and proper, then why are they so dishonest about it?
That's a matter of opinion, and you're wrong. They aren't. Why are you if you have all this evidence, why do you have to call them liars? That would be my point. Why do you even have to say liars in your opening statement? Seriously. There is nothing about I guess most people think of the opening statement in a situation like this as a preamble, right? But it doesn't have to be. I got to be honest. If I had a situation like this, I would come in and go, maybe I could tell you who the fuck I was and why the fuck I was there in 45 seconds. And the rest of it would be measurably, there is this bill that needs to be passed, this idea that I have, this circumstance happened, this matter of facts. And I will gladly discuss at length any of these facts. Like instead of doing a fucking like a preface to a book, either do just do the fucking appendix. Just throw it on the table.
Not just slight misrepresentations of fact, but deep untruths about the entire corrupt enterprise.
I love this. For sale, the big guy. Which is their term, man.
Bobulinski met with Joe Biden twice, confirmed he was the big guy who called the...
No, he didn't. Confirmed that Gilliar referred to him as the big guy. That's not confirming he's the big guy. And nobody else was like, everybody else was like, we don't call him the fuck off, the big guy. Also, if the big guy called the shots, why does anybody get any of the money? And why if he's in charge and the whole thing hangs on him, why does he get the smallest slice, you weirdos?
Shots. Joe Biden was for sale. The family...
To whom? Because I got to tell you, if he was for sale to who was in charge of Ukraine pre-2014 and into 2015, that was the Russians, and he's been curb stomping them. And if it was the Chinese, he's been skull fucking their economy for 2 goddamn years.
Family desperately needed cash. Hunter.
Wait, who?
Was for sale. The family desperately needed cash.
No, they didn't. First of all, they were never rich to start with. I mean, James and Hunter, I guess, did better, but Joe was never rich, and after he sold his book, he was like, Jesus, I never had this money before. That's why he hired Eric Schwerin. He needed a money manager for the first time.
Hunter shook them down with his dad in the room.
By the way, you can't shake down people that are blackmailing you. It doesn't work that way.
The cash and then cut Tony out.
Well, yeah, that might be the reason why he's there. They took the cash and cut him out because he was promising access to Hunter's dad, and Hunter was like, that's not how it works. Fuck you. Shut up or I'm not working with you. And then he kept doing it.
Hunter Biden represents, he's a governance expert. That's why Burisma put him on the board. Well, he obviously can't do basic math. The board of Oneida Holdings had 7 votes. Each one of them, Hunter, Jim Biden, James Gilliar, and Rob Walker, had a single vote. I had 3 votes.
Right, which is fucking weird. That's why they dissolved the company. There's like, why the fuck are we... He doesn't bring anything to the table. Why does he have nearly a 50% stake? If one of us gets sick, This asshole makes all the decisions.
I have a master's degree in electrical and nuclear engineering.
Which I think proves that I know a thing or two about the music business.
I think I can do math.
Yeah, one guy got 3 votes, Easy Network. Yeah.
I had 3, they had 4.
Right, but individually. And the idea was that Gilliar was your guy and that he would always side with you. So it was just a shitty business decision. First of all, I don't even know that that's how it ended up working out. They dissolved it before it even did anything.
They controlled Oneida Holdings. So Hunter Biden's representations that I was trying to take.
First of all, that I was trying to take over it with my 3 votes to his 1.
Take the business from them, or I didn't know, is all a sham and a misrepresentation. He wanted money in his account instantly, and that's why he shook down the Chinese, and they were willing to send him that $5 million because they viewed it as a bribe to the Biden family.
It wasn't just
For what? Joe Biden wasn't in office. And the idea that he was a shoo-in for the presidency is just fucking weird. I knew he was going to make it, but I was practically alone in talking about how he was going to be president in 2019. Jesus
China.
Christ.
The Biden family was tangled up with the Russians.
Corrupt and compromised. Oh, you mean because Devin Archer had a relationship with Maria Bartiromo, listen to me, Elena Baturina.
We know about the Russian billionaire who had dinner with Joe and Hunter, wired him millions, and then left Biden off the sanctions list. But,
well, this is new to me. Biden was going to be on. Russia was sanctioning America, and Biden was going to be on the sanctions list. They paid Joe Biden to leave him off the sanctions list. Well, of course. Why would you sanction someone if you've just given them a bunch of money and then they can't spend it? And then how are they going to show their appreciation? Yeah, just stupid.
it was much bigger than that.
Well, it'd have to be because it's non-existent. Anything's bigger than 0, dumb fuck.
The Biden family was brokering Russia-Chinese energy deals right under the FBI's noses.
No, they weren't. CEFC was seeking a piece of Rosneft. Not Oneida Holdings. Not this deal. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, let's see what is he going to play a clip?
Chairman.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if he actually. What he just said is in this clip is actually in the clip.
He was dropping $50 million of cash for penthouses in Manhattan.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Chinese energy deals right under the FBI's noses.
Chairman Yi was dropping $50 million of cash for penthouses in Manhattan.
Yes! Most of which went to Donald Trump. What the fuck are you talking about? Hey, asshole. The Bidens don't own property in New York City. You know who does? Donald fucking Trump. Well, did. Or maybe might not. But Donald Trump, that's who. Holy shit. Thanks, Edward. Appreciate that. Yeah, for fuck's sake. Did it pop in here? No, okay, I'll add it. I want to be able to show everybody the thing. How many times do Yi Jinping owned, and by the way, he owns one that I know of. Right? There we go. Yeah, that's what I want. Boink. There we go. Yeah. He owns that $5 million no-show apartment that remained empty. Yeah, exactly, Doc. Those are in Trump buildings. He's literally paying Trump during the Trump presidency, you dumb motherfucker. Good Lord.
You should be asking all these questions are the Department of Justice, the SDNY, the FBI, because they have troves of evidence that back up what was going on. This involved the Chinese Communist Party. They were
and Donald Trump
doing a transaction with Rosneft, which was a Russian-sanctioned, U.S.-sanctioned company at the time, and the Biden family was right front and center in the middle of it.
No, they weren't. You were setting up the CEFC deal. CEFC was trying to buy into Rosneft from the other fucking direction as part of the Belt and Road. Huh?
Tony B has troves of evidence linking
Tony B. Yeah, it's Tony B. I had no idea. They call him Tony B. It's so great. And Joe Biden's using, like, the Senate as a shield that he's, like, hiding behind, like a coward who's actually in battle, because obviously you wouldn't pick up a shield unless you were actually in. It's kind of an older, he looks like old Steve Rogers there, but okay, yeah.
the Biden clam to international criminal activity.
Why did the FBI never follow up with Tony B? They did. And he wouldn't hand over his fucking phone, dum-dum.
And the FBI never conducted a follow-up interview after he went public 4 years ago. The Treasury Department flagged 150 suspicious activity reports.
Right, anything over $10,000. It's standard. Here's the question. How many suspicious activity reports have the banks that have accounts for the Trump organization had? I'm going to guess it's in the thousands. Tens of thousands, maybe, over the years.
Money was flowing from the red Chinese right to Joe Biden's personal checking account.
No, it wasn't. If it was flowing from the red Chinese right to Joe Biden's checking account, A, it'd be in yuan. B, there would not be any bing bong, boppity boppity boo thing that Trump does about where it goes before it got to him. And it wouldn't, you know where it wouldn't go? Is through AmeriCorps.
On August 4th,
$2017,000
is wired into a Wasco PC from CEFC infrastructure. On August 14,
2017.
There is $150,000 that is transferred from a Wasco PC, which is controlled by Hunter Biden, to Lion Hall Group, which is controlled by James Biden. We have
I don't know what the controlled by means. They were both in that deal. They both got paid. It was basically being dissolved. At
deposit reference into Sarah Jones Biden's account on the same.
Right. Yes. The clear sign of a criminal enterprise is a very strong paper trail. You can always tell when a criminal mastermind is at work because they keep receipts in triplicate.
Same day she withdrew it from Lion Hall on September 3rd, 2007, from Sarah Biden's own person.
2007? Dear God, time travel is possible. 2007. Who cares? Biden was being sanctioned. 2007. Things happened before they even existed. I mean, honestly.
Personal account. There is a check that is written to Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., the president of the United States, today for.
Yeah, today he's the president of the United States. On that day, he was her brother-in-law and not a federal employee. He was, for all practical purposes, a federal retiree. I mean, if we're still talking about 2017 and not 2007, which, by the way, would be before he was even vice president. Man, I got to say what you will about the Chinese, but they're great at predicting the future in reverse.
$40,000 signed loan repayment, a loan repayment, by the way, that Joe Biden's own personal accountant, Mr.
Who didn't work with them at that time.
Eric Schwerin has no record for.
You heard that?
Right, because James took that money from the trust. He withdrew it from the trust, and so he had to pay it back to his brother to pay through the trust. Again, in 2017. So fucking what?
Right? Joe Biden's own accountant testified under oath
that he'd never seen the handwritten checks and the ones that they deposited in their bank like normal fucking people. Jesus Christ, man, stop talking about this like it's fucking gold bars. We're not talking about Bob Menendez. Seriously, at least if the Bidens are this giant family corruption machine, why are they writing checks on their kitchen counter? Why is there such a clear paper trail for payments and repayments? Why would you? Why wouldn't he cash it out? For that kind of money, you can't fly to another country and on, get 80 cents on the dollar for something and get it in cash and right? Like a real criminal? Jesus Christ, there's not even crypto involved.
That there was no record that this was a loan repayment? It was.
Yeah, there was. The record is the memo line because they put it in there. And that he got the money out of the trust that they had.
It was a bribe from China.
For what? For him to ruin their entire economy and destroy their technological future and keep them from getting the highest level of computer chips that exist in the world that are made in the United States, created in the United States, and printed in Taiwan, which is one of the things they think they want to take over. Here's the question. Is there a single Trump tariff or restriction on the Chinese that Joe Biden hasn't doubled? Seriously. Because I gotta say, if the Chinese were bribing Joe Biden, he screwed them.
Hunter Biden was asked during his deposition, how many times did you pay for your father's household expenses? Over 100? And Hunter Biden said, I don't know.
Because, who gives a shit? What are you talking about? Restocking the fucking fridge? Shutters? Hiring Roto-Rooter? Jesus.
$24 million in foreign wires to the Bidens.
No. Bobulinski's not a Biden. Rob Walker's not a Biden. James Gilliar is not a Biden. Gallivanus or whatever is not a Biden.
$1.5 million missing in cash. At least two missing.
Wait a minute.
The Bidens. $1.5 million missing in cash. At least.
Citation needed.
These two missing diamonds, and the investigation just started, and it's being stoned.
Just started? Just started? Good Lord. Yeah, that's the thing about, I didn't even know who this Comer guy was. I'm just learning about him now. We're all Bidens. Yeah, it's like Francie. It's like Negan.
Stonewalled at the highest levels. Democrats had a hard time facing the facts today.
No, they really didn't.
Quote, 10% held by H for the big guy, question mark. You remember that, right?
Oh, he's going to show nobody responded. He goes, yeah, they responded to it. He goes, correct. What I mean is nobody responded to the big guy, calling him the big guy or leave the big guy out of this or, yeah, the big guy's not interested or big guy. Nobody ever said big guy except you.
The infamous email with the big guy? Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Did anyone ever respond to that email?
Yes, they did, numerous times.
Sorry.
Hunter Biden himself did.
Excuse me. You're right.
Well, no, I think that's important because
Sir,
Hunter
did
Biden
anyone
has
ever
claimed that he didn't
Can you answer my
respond to it,
questions?
and he responded to it. I believe
You're just going to
times.
filibuster. I reclaim my time that's running out.
We're back to a.
Yeah, they cut around the part where he goes, yeah, did anybody respond to the use of the phrase the big guy? Because that came from James Gilliar, not from the Bidens.
Hearing where no evidence is being provided of any sort of wrong.
Also, by the way, we have seen multiple times since this shit has come out that they refer to Donald Trump as the big guy. Don Jr. has done it multiple times. We've seen people that used to be in his cabinet. Some of the campaign people have called Donald Trump the big guy over time, which I would think that this was injected into this bullshit in an attempt to try and obfuscate the big guy getting really paid off in terms of, again, no-show apartments in New York City.
Wrongdoing by the president. But I want to go back.
That's a
Mr.
blatant
Bobulinski,
lie.
actually, it's my time, sir.
What you stated.
I did not call the
what was
FBI
stated
agents
right
liars.
before that was,
I
first
said
of all,
they
I
misstated
said that I'm
or made
speaking, and I did
mistakes.
not ask you a question.
So this was the first time an actual eyewitness to the Biden enterprise testified.
Eyewitness? He didn't meet him till 2017, you dumb son of a bitch. Who was president in 2017? I'll tell you who. The guy that Yi Jianming paid $5 million for at least one apartment that we know of. Now that Bobulinski's talking about $50 million for apartments, maybe he's got apartments in more of these fucking buildings. Oh my God. Can you imagine on Monday they start selling these properties and they go through who owns what and what's been bought and, you know, what they owe and own of the building itself, right? And it turns out like they're like the fucking cockroaches that are going to come to the surface when they go through who owns pieces of these buildings. Because again, one of the biggest fears for Donald Trump selling his stake in these buildings is that it's not really his money. And it hasn't been for a long fucking time. And that the people who own big chunks of his building, either in direct units or as you know, silent investors, are some skeevy fucking people.
Publicly, and the Democrats weren't prepared.
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your
Oh, this is the RICO part. Good Lord.
testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it? Corruption statutes, RICO, and
What
What corruption statute did you witness, motherfucker? You didn't meet the guy until he no longer was in office. How do you corrupt someone in a job they don't have? How do you pay for influence to someone who can't actually influence anything anymore? At that point, what?
What is it? What is the crime, sir? Specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is the
It's a category of crimes.
Fannie charged Trump with RICO in Georgia, AOC.
No, she didn't, you dumb son of a bitch. She didn't charge him with RICO. She charged him under the RICO statute with a myriad of crimes, including obstruction of justice and witness tampering and all the shit that goes with RICO. You don't just charge somebody with fucking RICO unless it's me and it's Suave. Rico Suave. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm Rico Suave. I gotta get a bandana and a long coat and just let my chest hang out. It's gonna be a thing. I'm gonna need to be very tan though.
So if RICO's not a crime, I guess Trump's fine.
RICO's not a crime, you dumb motherfucker. It's a category of crime. Under RICO, he was charged with a conspiracy with a bunch of other crimes. And he coordinated those crimes. The RICO part is where you can charge everyone equally, stupid. See what I mean, though? This is what I was talking about. This is like the mind-numbingly stupid part of this. This is Bongholio level dumb. Right? This is, I'm looking for a teepee for my bunghole. I am Bongholio. It's a special kind of stupid. Yeah.
But honestly,
Rico Suave didn't have stubble, by the way. He was fresh-faced. Someone had said I was going to have to grow stubble for this. No. As a matter of fact, I would guess from the video that he's got very little stubble anywhere, if you know what I mean.
Biden flies his son
I'm going to have to get a fucking Brazilian if I'm going to pull that off.
around the world to cut deals, invites his son's partners to the White House, has phone calls and meetings with them, drops sanctions.
No. He's on a phone and he says hi and asks how the weather are. That's not a phone call with them. Having a meeting with somebody after you're out of office is not a crime. Also, that didn't turn into anything. His son tried to start a business with this dude, and he was like, this is the guy I'm going to work with. And by the way, his son's an addict at the time, and his father is policing his life to try and keep him alive.
On them, greases regs for them, gets their kids into colleges.
Greases regs? Name one. Gets their kids into college. He wrote a recommendation letter for one person who was a friend. Now, I get it. He's Chinese, and all Jesse Waters knows about Chinese people is that he used to go down to Chinatown in New York with a microphone and a crew and be racist to them.
And he gets his entire extended family, from sons, brothers to grandkids.
Jesse Waters from Burke.
Kids paid millions. Cars, cash, diamonds, expensive scotch.
The scotch went the other way, stupid. They bought the scotch and gave it to the Chinese dude. They didn't. Okay. Man, is this what happens when you consider yourself like family values Republicans, but then you vote for a pussy grabber? Like you have no idea which way, how consent works or how interactions actually work, what direction. A-B logic is always B-A logic. It doesn't fucking matter. Is that what happens to your fucking brain? Is this your brain on maggot?
And he uses an alias. Joe Biden uses an alias. You
use an alias, you dumb son of a bitch. There's no fucking way his email is Jesse Waters at Fox News. Seriously, what is it? What's your fucking email? What kind of an asshole that's in the fucking administration of the United States of America would use their first and last name at whitehouse.gov to actually conduct business? Are you? Yes, you are. You're stupid. I was about to say, are you completely stupid? And he is. How the fuck would you get anything done? Jesus Christ. If I have my whole name in an email, it just... And I'm me. I'm just, cable television guy who happens to be adorable. But imagine being the fucking vice president. You don't think, and just for national security. What the fuck? Of course he used an alias. And of course they had different ones for different shit. So that if one gets out, the rest of the whole thing isn't compromised, dummy. What the fuck kind of... First of all, Donald Trump doesn't even use email because that phrase you kept hearing from Gallivanese and Rob Walker, say it, forget it, write it, regret it. That's a Trump organization thing. That's why Trump doesn't use email. Do you ever notice Trump emails just don't show up? You ever notice also that the text messages that are getting him in trouble come from Walt Nauda's fucking phone? Walt Nauta testified under oath that he loaned his phone to Trump to text someone. He uses other people's phones to send messages so he has plausible deniability that he wrote it. So he could throw you under the fucking bus. And he only does it to the people who are genuinely, involved in the crime with him. So they can't turn.
Use burner phones to talk. Biden's donors paid his family's back taxes.
And you know who aren't his donors? You know his donors have to be? Americans. Also, just because he gave money to him and donated the maximum, that's not this. Helping his son out because he's a family member. By the way, it's weird. It should be fucking weird to you that, Mary Trump will never give money, much less vote for her uncle. She will not give money to the Trump campaign, and she will not vote for that motherfucker. But everybody around the Bidens is happy to give the max and help out in any way they can because he's a real fucking person with actual friends and a life.
Could Don Jr. stiff the IRS and his dad's donors square it up before an election? Come on.
No, because he doesn't have any friends that would bail him out. No.
Investigators have delivered eyewitness testimony.
Yeah, that sentence stick out to you too?
Come on. Investigators have delivered eyewitness testimony.
Okay, first of all, you're talking about a guy who didn't even meet Biden until he was out of office. And as far as eyewitness testimony, that literally everybody who's in here was talking about phone calls that happened in another room that they weren't present for. Bobulinski even fucking testified about the content of the phone call that Hunter made that Joe was sitting there. There is no fucking way he knows if he was there or not there. It's absurd. What the fuck kind of eyewitness testimony is going? Yeah, of course he was sitting right there. How do you know? Because he said so. Did he say anything while he was on drugs that turned out not to be true? Yeah, he cheated me out of the fucking thing. All right, so maybe he's not completely forthcoming or he uses leverage that he has, perhaps.
Bank records Mountains of circumstantial evidence plus
Oh, yeah, mountains of circumstantial evidence. Well, I thought, weren't we on our like 19th fucking smoking gun at this point?
motive, physical evidence, digital communications, photographs, voice.
Wait, well, you got those mixed up. Photographs of digital evidence. The dude's submitted pictures taken with his phone of his other phone. Get the fuck out of here.
Voicemails. Jesse Jr. could prosecute this case.
Well, then I got to say, Jesse Jr. is, you're turning your son into an authoritarian who would only work in a gulag because this is nonsense.
Do you believe he should be impeached?
I do.
Okay, and you believe that because you believe Chairman Comer has proven that he committed a high crime and misdemeanor?
No, because I know that he committed high crimes and misdemeanors.
Okay.
I was involved and saw them happen.
How? You didn't even meet him till he was out of office. You can't commit high crimes and misdemeanors if you're not in office. You can't. It doesn't work that way. This dumb motherfucker didn't even meet him until Trump was president. What are you talking about? The extent of his meeting him was from 2017 to 2018. That was the length of the entire fucking relationship that he was even fucking loosely around. You can't commit a high crime and misdemeanor, and you sure as fuck didn't witness anything while the guy wasn't in office. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
The Democrats say there's no evidence. The media reports there's no evidence,
And I'm here to tell you, there's no evidence. Hey, motherfucker, him saying he witnessed something that happened during the Trump presidency isn't evidence. You know who's saying there's no evidence? You are, you dumb fuck. Jesse Waters is saying there's no evidence. You know how? Because saying there's evidence when there is none is the same as saying there is none. The material impact on the world, the justice system, the legal ramifications of said activities, it's exactly the same. Saying there's evidence that doesn't exist and having no evidence at all is the same thing. It's just one comes from a dick.
4-year cover-up continues.
4-year cover-up. 4-year cover-up. What, of things that happened while Trump was president?
So looking at the calendar, I don't see the committee moving towards an official impeachment this year. I just don't.
Well, it's not the calendar. It's the fucking mounds of circumstantial evidence.
Personally, I believe there was sufficient evidence to start impeachment last year, but that's just me.
Right, that's just you and Tony Bobulinski, and both of you are full of shit. Here's a good idea. I got a good idea. Why don't you help? Jesse, instead of just yapping and sitting there with those two fucking giant caterpillars on your forehead, why don't you do this? Why don't you Photoshop some messages between you and Hunter Biden, post-date them to 2016, and go, thanks for introducing me to that Chinese spy, and she was hot, and also the diamonds are in the mailbox, and then take a picture of that with your fucking phone, and then call James Comer, he'll let you testify. And then you can come in and go, I was a witness to things that happened while Joe Biden was president. What'd you witness? I witnessed words appear on my phone that implicate him in a crime. Can we see your phone? No. Oh, so you just like Bobulinski? Yes.
Now the committee's up against a political clock. Some are...
No, they aren't. No, they aren't. They're not up against a political clock, you dumb motherfucker. They're up against an empty fucking box. Tens of thousands of pages of financial documents, like myriad testimony from dozens of fucking people, and the box of evidence is fucking empty.
Recess, conventions, and the politicians, they have to campaign for re-elections.
Well, it's stopping them from charging Trump.
So they're not going to be in.
What are the Republicans, just a bunch of wussies? Like Democrats can apparently corral the whole DOJ and big tech and big pharma and big entertainment and big dick, and they can get everybody all working in concert to attack Donald Trump and still campaign at the same time. But the fucking House Republicans, what the fuck do they have to do? None of their witnesses are running for office, and they're not going to get the president because they don't have anything.
Washington for impeachment hearings. And an impeachment in October could be silly with weeks before an election.
Yeah, silly's one word for it.
So the committee's going to keep grinding.
Yeah, you know, like an asshole who doesn't know how to drive stick. China clutching. China. Yeah, they're going to keep grinding, all right. Why can't any of this just be true? Just can't I just wish it true?
We're still
why would you why would you be grinding if you have all this evidence? Why? Right? If you're up to your fucking eyeballs in evidence and it's clear as day and blah 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 and you have witnesses and all this shit, what grinding do you have to do except maybe some fresh pot of coffee?
Expecting credit card records from multiple banks and the offshore accounts, which the IRS whistleblowers confirm exist, are being protected by the DOJ.
Hold on.
For an election. So the committee's going to keep grinding.
Mm-hmm.
We're still expecting credit card records from multiple banks and the offshore.
Yes, that's the other way you commit a big crime. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the Gambino family were busted because they kept all they put everything on Visa. Do you think he even listens to himself? Credit card receipts. What were the Chinese doing? Bribing him with credit? Credit card receipts. Shut the fuck up.
Offshore accounts, which the IRS whistleblowers confirm exist.
Yeah, they're Rob Walker and Devin Archer's. That's where the money flowed through for the fucking car, the Porsche.
Are being protected by the DOJ.
Yeah. No, they're not. But saying that keeps you from having to actually admit they don't exist.
But if Trump wins and finds Biden's offshore accounts.
Yeah, he could. Let me explain something, dickhead. Trump says that Biden cheated in the election and when he wasn't even in power. You think Trump can... He ran on lock her up. Remember that? Hillary's still out walking around. I know your QAnon friends have told you she's been hanged twice at Guantanamo. They hung her, cloned her, and then hung her clone just because they hated her so much. Even though, technically speaking, the clone would be completely innocent, and even though it looks old, somehow they found a way to age it to her exact specifications. It's still technically an infant, so Republicans and QAnon people are arguing that you should kill a baby after it's born, just as long as it looks like an old lady.
I don't care what Robert Hur says. You're going to see a sympathetic elderly man with a hazy memory on trial. If Biden wins re-election and the
He's going to.
Republicans keep the House, then they'll have time for impeachment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they'll have plenty of time. I mean, they won't be busy trying to solve the problems of the American people. What are they going to, let's see, try to go after bullshit China money thing one more time, or sit here with my thumb up my ass and regret not having trimmed my cuticles.
This year, though, it's more about what the American people believe and how.
No, it isn't. It's not. You can tell yourself that because you're trying to make them believe something that isn't true. I don't give a fuck what I believe even about these things. I can have feelings even about Trump shit, but what matters is what happens in court. what evidence is presented, what a jury thinks or what a judge thinks, and how that plays out. I can have my feelings about it all I want, but it's not going to actually amount to a fucking hill of beans. I can feel, nobody feels their way into fucking jail, dummy.
It impacts their vote. Everyone knows Biden's corrupt.
No, they don't. If they did, if everyone knew he was corrupt, well, actually, two things. If they knew he was corrupt, if everyone knew he was corrupt, again, the committee wouldn't have to grind, right? They just fucking 20 minutes a day, call it, and he'd be impeached in a matter of, by the weekend, right? But how about this? Let's take him at his word, right? Let's assume, yeah? Let's assume that part is true, that everybody knows Biden is corrupt. That means that things are going so good, they don't give a fuck. Because it would call what I would call the mob buffet syndrome. As long as the spread's nice, nobody wants to say a fucking thing. Right? That's the argument. This asshole inadvertently is making a case that Joe Biden is kicking so much ass and being such a good president that even though everybody knows he's corrupt as fuck, they're willing to look past it because of all the good he's doing for the country. Great job, Jesse. Well done. Well played, dum-dum.
We just have to vote him out. Click here to subscribe.
No, I'm not gonna. Nope. Nope.